We are here at the courthouse, Christine, with Simcoe Community Media. We're a press conference with Mayor Alex Nuttall, and he has now declared a state of emergency in the city of Barrie to address the housing crisis.
After the statement, we'll answer questions with media, and we'll probably about 15 to 20 minutes in total. Before I give my statement, I want to thank MP Doug Shipley, who's on my left here, MP John Broussard, who's joined us, Deputy Mayor Rob Thompson. We've got Ward 2 Councillor Craig Nixon, Ward 10 Councillor Brandon Hamilton, and Ward 1 Councillor Claire Rietma with us today. And before I again begin, I want to start by saying that we have had this conversation. I've had conversations with each individual member of council, and if I haven't been able to, our Deputy Mayor has, and we say this today with the full support of our team at City Hall. 6 years ago, on March 5th, 2019, I requested Barrie City Mayor and Council to declare a state of emergency to properly manage the opioid emergency and ancillary impacts of homelessness and lawlessness, but was ignored. During COVID, the City of Barrie decided it would create a sanctioned encampment at Milligan's Pond where those who were homeless were able to erect tents and further create a village. Alongside the existing encampments along Ann Street, there came a mass of people in corresponding tents and structures. While the sanction ended, the camping did not. Just over 2 years ago, Barrie City Council tried to bring more effective controls into the community to address rampant homelessness, organized criminal behaviors, drug use, and panhandling. Following activist intervention, Council decided to have faith and provide one more chance to local social services to get it right. Our faith has not been rewarded, and neither has the provinces. The province of Ontario responded to my request for more funding. We've had an 86% increase to homelessness prevention funding in this city. The average across the province was about 44%, I believe. New shelter funding that's going to be hitting in the next 2 months. Encampment cleanup funding that we have used. Heart Hub funding that is now currently being instituted. The total funding described here is not only in the tens of millions of dollars over the next 3 years, but over our term will exceed $100 million. We do not have a funding problem. We have an inability to be effective problem with the money that's been allocated. There are services working with cross purposes to cleaning up lawlessness. It takes too long to be accredited and permitted. It takes too long to deliver the services for rehabilitation and shelter that have been promised to us, the people of Barrie. But we, the City of Barrie, do not have control over this emergency. The federally appointed judges are superseding everyday bylaws. The cities have enacted to create and maintain order. The Barrie Police Department operates as an arm's-length police service overseeing law enforcement, or the lack thereof, being told by the justice system that it's a waste of time to enforce drug possession or drug use laws. This because often those same judges just mentioned throw the cases out and warn the prosecutors to steer away from such charges. While I support the county's plan to deliver new space and the Heart Hub, we have all simply run out of time. The City of Barrie does not have control over this emergency until now. Today I'm announcing that I've declared a state of emergency in the City of Barrie, as I requested the former administration to do. While we wait for the county's long-term plan to be implemented, the City of Barrie is immediately instituting the state of emergency to reclaim our streets, our boulevards, our parks, our squares, our feeling of safety, and our order. While this order will not appoint federal judges that protect the rights of citizenry to live in a free and lawful society, it will address the problem from the ground up. Barrie City Council has already done so much. In 2023, we provide an additional $1.65 million, increasing our funding to local social service agencies. Also in 2023, we ended the prisoner drop-off program in downtown Barrie that left individuals in our downtown from around the province of Ontario when they left incarceration at Penetang. In 2025, with the help of our police resources, and I see our Deputy Chief here today, Deputy, we funded an additional 17 officers to enforce the law right here in our downtown centre. Also, just a couple of weeks ago, We created an additional 55 affordable and supportive housing units, with many more to be approved in the coming months. Today, we are taking further action. These actions are necessary due to the length of time of lawlessness in our city and due to the increase in severity of lawlessness in our city. In the last 2 months, we've had a double homicide. E. coli levels reaching almost 5 times the failure concentration in our streams leading down from the encampments to our beaches. A major increase in tents along city streets with the closure of the encampment. Multiple fires being set last Wednesday alone. A tent that was right behind me being found with drug money, drugs, multiple crossbows, and a pistol. Assaults, rampant drug use, overdoses, theft, exposure to needles by citizens just trying to clean downtown, defecation in doorways, increased encampments, and public indecency. And with all of this, I can honestly say Barrie might have the problem, but we are not the reason. Well over half of the individuals who are homeless in our city are just not from here and not from Simcoe County. With this declaration of emergency, we will be commencing with the following. Immediately testing all water and waterways near or abutting encampments to understand how many other waterways are being contaminated, with human feces resulting in incredibly high E. coli readings and obviously influencing our waterfront. Removing encampments beginning with those that are nearest our most critical infrastructure and public spaces. Creating a position to oversee the implementation of social services and coordination of services between the various agencies responsible, i.e., remove any and all silos. My current Chief of Staff and Office Manager, Natasha Halikas, will assume this position as soon as we have transitioned someone into her current role. We'll give our city the ability to retain additional staff and contracted services as required. We'll request the county to immediately open access to additional shelter throughout the county of Simcoe to allow for space to be available for the people living in these tents. We'll provide Barrie staff with the ability to retain space if the county of Simcoe does not have any accessible. We'll provide Barrie staff with the ability to explore infrastructure opportunities with the county of Simcoe or individually if required. We request the province of Ontario to provide immediate funding to support this initiative and all of these initiatives. Prior to completion of this order, i.e. prior to the emergency being concluded, staff will have to prepare updates to our existing bylaws, procedures, and policies as required to have for council's consideration to reflect our encampment response measures. And we will commission a report to clearly delineate how we got here and make recommendations of our next steps so that we never come back into this emergency situation. And now open it up to media for questions. I think I have somebody helping with that. I see Bob first.
I'm just going to grab the mic so that way we can bring it up.
Perfect.
Swap out this one's for you, and then this one I'm going to bring over there.
Testing. Awesome. Please state your name, your outlet, and we're going to leave it, please, to one question, one follow-up.
Bob Bruton, Barrie Today. You said over half of the homeless people in Barrie are not from Barrie. How many people is that, and where do those numbers come from?
Yeah, if you read, I'm not sure if this is on. Check.
I think you have to hold it.
Gotta hold it. Hold on, Bob. Hello, hello.
It's on.
It's on. So if you look at our community safety and well-being report, it outlines that right in the report. I actually think that the numbers are worse than that, Bob, because the data that we saw was that in those who live in Barrie on the street that have been here for less than 3 years is roughly 62% of individuals. What is quoted inside of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Report, I believe, is either 1 or 2 years of time. So I guess you really have to determine how long somebody's here before Barrie's their home. But those are the numbers as they were outlined inside that report.
And one follow-up.
What are those numbers? How many homeless people
Yeah, the numbers I think are around 600 that they've been identified inside of the city of Barrie today. I believe the numbers are actually much larger than that. If you include those who are participating over at the encampment sites, maybe they have a home or a couch surfing or other things, but the numbers likely exceed that.
Please state your name and your outlook.
Brett Glover from the Barrie Advance. Alex, I was speaking with a critic of yours, a homelessness advocate on Friday, who basically said it's an aggressive stance. It's more of a distraction from the fact that this council has been able to provide attainable, unaffordable, but attainable housing. How do you reply to that?
Define attainable for me.
Something that somebody can attain, get off the streets perhaps.
Right, so 2 weeks ago we came in, we put in 31 units over at Mapleview Community Church, supporting and supportive and affordable housing. We also have announced an additional, I think it was 24 units over at Dean Avenue that we announced just 2 weeks ago. You're going to see a lot more units coming down the line, but I find it difficult for a critic, whoever they are, to complain that there's not enough affordable housing or attainable housing after this council's been in for about 2.5 years. The reality is we've gone through a 30-year period without the investment in this type of housing here in the city of Barrie. And so if you go back, and I say this all the time, and you've heard me say this, and I'm sorry for repeating myself, but the last major investment in social housing was the project that I grew up in. What this council is doing is we've been taking these matters into our own hands, creating funding opportunities. We're taking money from the DC charge, the developers' money. We're investing inside of affordable housing. And we're not only getting thanked by those who would be able to be in that housing, we're also being thanked by the development community. You know, who would have seen that coming? So it's these innovative approaches that you'll see come to fruition over the next number of years. But you can't come and say in 2025 there's not enough affordable, attainable housing. This council, why didn't you do something between 1994 and 2025? This council is doing a lot on this subject, not to mention the fact that we've also been working with the county as they build Rose Street out to provide another 200 and I think it's 17 or 215 units in our city. So I think this council from day one has been very, very supportive of getting both supportive and affordable housing in place. But these buildings aren't built overnight, and you can't undo 30 years of nothing in 2 years.
And as far as a timeline is concerned with the dismantling of these encampments, so I'll look into this one, for example, behind us because we're here. How long until we start seeing some sort of action there?
Well, one of the things that we're doing is creating a task force headed by our Chief Administrative Officer or delegate. They will obviously work to remove the silos, get all of the offerings in place. As I understand it, the County of Simcoe has already offered space to the folks that are over on the street in front of the Busby and along Mulcaster Street. So I think those offers have been going for the last 2 to 3 weeks based on what I've been told. And that allows us to be able to move pretty quickly with trespass orders. And these trespass orders are going to ensure that when a trespass order is given on a city street, it's functional for the entire city. We want folks to get inside. We want them to get help. Barrie is a place that you come if you need and want help. It's not the place you come and put a tent on the side of the road, use drugs, carry crossbows and pistols, and obviously set up shop as a drug dealer. So if you don't want help and that's not your thing, please go somewhere else. If you want help, the County of Simcoe and all of their partner agencies are there to help. Next question.
Name and outlook, please.
Luke, CTV Barrie.
Yes, Luke.
I'm just wondering when families can expect to be able to walk down Mulcaster again.
Well, I think we need some time. Obviously, we have to issue the trespass orders. That's not something that I do. It's something that's done by our bylaw department. We will work hand in glove with the County of Simcoe through that process, ensuring that everyone who's willing to accept help gets help. Just around the corner here, Bursey Park, of those who were accepting help, there were 12 individuals. Of those 12 individuals, 9 are still inside of a long-term housing. And so, you know, we know that once we can create these opportunities and people accept them, that they're very effective. I think you would agree that a 75% success rate is probably better than anything else we're seeing with regards to this emergency.
And then just a quick follow-up for you. On your executive committee meeting, you said the encampments are, I believe, 6 people or more. How many encampments are currently in the city of Barrie that the city is aware of?
I'm going off the top of my head, but we have that data, I think, that is somewhere in the neighborhood of between 21 and 23 that were active. We eliminated 2 a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure if that takes us to 21 or 19, but certainly there's a lot of work to do, specifically those that are along waterways or near critical infrastructure, or sitting inside of a children's play park.
Michael at the scene. So in 2024, we had over 20 encampment fires. With that, you have residents and business owners that experienced theft or property damage. Why did it take till now, with the optics that it looks like it's in your backyard now, for this to be addressed?
Could you define my backyard?
City Hall is a block away.
Yeah, so we actually eliminated encampments over at Painswick Park. We went through Bursey Park. There's been tons and tons of tents along our waterfront removed. And I think that the property damage people have been experiencing, what we haven't been able to do is, because the province has been requested, I've led on this subject matter, asking the province to back us up if this goes to court. If this does go to court, we will see where it lands and see where the province is at on that. But right now, the problem we've faced is that the courts continually stop the removal of tents and of encampments. And we saw that again, I think about 2 weeks ago, maybe it was 3 weeks ago now, over in Kitchener, where the courts interceded in Kitchener trying to remove an encampment so that they could build a transit hub. We know that these are the issues that we're facing. We're hoping that the work that we've done on the provincial level to actually get the funding will help deliver on the front line here. But we can't just act in a way that it doesn't allow us to be successful. We need to make sure that everything that we're doing is long-term and effective and actually does result in achieving the goals that we've been seeking to achieve. And that would not have happened without the province stepping up, making all of these changes in the meantime. It wouldn't have happened without Hamilton winning the case, I think it was last fall, where they were able to remove an encampment. And so I think it's really important that you stop, you take a moment to go, okay, well, what have we been able to achieve and what's left? I think the other thing that your question, and quite frankly, I think it was a little bit ridiculous, your question fails to take in, is that we had a double homicide take place in an encampment. We had E. coli levels, which I requested repeatedly to be tested, that wouldn't be by agencies that I believe should, and the city had to step up and go on there. So the more evidence that comes in, the better, and we're then able to obviously act behind the provincial order that came down to remove the encampment over on Ann Street. Next question.
Yeah, you from Simcoe Community Media, you have put, quote unquote, a lot of blame on the Superior Court ruling that you can't clear the encampment, but it also states that you need to have, sufficient shelter places for people to evacuate the encampment, and it's a charter right to have the housing. So what you have done, you said you have been mayor for 2.5 years. What has been done, to provide that housing, and how much blame should be on you and the current council for so many encampments in there?
Can you define sufficient for me? What does sufficient housing mean?
Sufficient housing means people not living outside in a tent, as we see right now, and that wasn't the case before you became the mayor.
Well, I think the reality is that the housing that's being offered is not always accepted. We saw that over at Bursey. We've seen that in other parts around the city. Brock Park, when we removed an encampment there. Painswick Park, I believe it took 2 or 3 weeks to get the individual to agree to go into an offering that was available. There has been more than enough opportunity to be able to provide housing, and the county has certainly been working very hard on that over the last little while to ensure that they have it available. That's why we were able to move quickly on the encampment over at Ann Street when the provincial order was given and the state of emergency was given for that location. and certainly will continue to look at any opportunities that we need. If you see in this order, and what I just said was that if the county is unable to provide the space, then the city staff are directed to go and find the space available. That does not mean that individuals are going to accept that space. It just means that those spaces will be readily available.
Yeah, just to follow up, as you just accepted that, people not accepting the housing options that you are giving. So, and talking to many community leaders, they see the holes in the options that you are offering. So are we going to see violence on the streets now from the police as you will try to evacuate these encampments?
No, our police department acts with nothing but the respect for individuals. Obviously, it's a delicate situation, and they're going to be working hand in hand with our bylaw department, with mental health services over at the County of Simcoe and many others. So I think that there's obviously a ton of work to do to ensure that the appropriate spaces are available. But right now, I think that the focus is on making sure everything is in the background and ready. And then at the appropriate time over the next few days and weeks, we will see the encampments be removed. And if individuals are looking to camp and not looking to go inside or to get help, they need to move on to another community. Ours isn't the right place for them. Ian at Barrie 360.
Mike's always silence when he asks a question, right? Mayor, somebody who doesn't want help, whether they're from Barrie or wherever, sometimes it's addiction. Sometimes it may not even be addiction, maybe a mental health issue. They're not in the right mind to even know they need help. So I'm just wondering where you would find that balance and where would you want them to go?
Well, I think the County of Simcoe has been very diligent, right? Like they spent many days, I think it was over a week over at Bursey, trying to offer support and offer help. We've had weeks of offers here to help individuals get out of tents and into a safer and stronger future. Unfortunately, they haven't obviously taken those offers. And, we can see why, right? Like there's rampant drug use, there's drug dealers, there's drug money, there's weapons. Folks set up shop where the encampments were. And that obviously has a massive impact and effect on the community. For those that don't want to go inside, look, I'm the mayor of the city of Barrie. Okay, if there's another municipality that thinks encampments are the right way to go, they can go there. As for the city of Barrie, we will not be accepting that in any way any longer. And that means that we're going to have to invest the dollars to ensure there are rooms and spaces and beds available. We're going to have to invest the dollars with the County of Simcoe even more than we have to ensure there's proper rehabilitative help available. And, we have for so long haven't had those resources. And what this emergency order does today is it brings those resources forward to make sure that we can provide those things so we can remove all of these tents in accordance with any, rulings that have come out from these federal judges.
So you have talked about you are willing to put money on the table too as a municipality. Is this groundbreaking what you're announcing, like province-wide? Is there another municipality you're aware of in Ontario that has taken this sort of step?
There was one state of emergency that was brought into effect after a number of fentanyl overdoses that took place down in Belleville. The order was actually approved also by the province, and there was a ton of action taken at that point. In terms of the approach that we're taking here, this is a new one. We know that we've had too many overdoses to date. We had too many overdoses in 2017, and we've had too many ever since. The problems around this drug emergency have only increased over the years, and obviously the lawlessness is something that is, gotten to levels that are just. I'm not sure how any of our agencies can look the other way at this point, and certainly the City of Barrie is not responsible for social services. We're not responsible for policing. We are responsible for trespass orders. And those trespass orders can only be given legally if we have all of the services in place behind them. And so I know the county is going to work very hard on this, and where there are perhaps gaps, the City of Barrie will fill in the gaps.
And thank you, everyone. That concludes our conference for today.
So we did talk to a local advocate who was present at the press conference that had some concerns about telling people if you don't accept an offer of housing, which may not be the right offer for you due to many different reasons, including mental health, substance use issues, trauma, that you should just pack up and leave Barrie. Also, there's a concern about the stigmatization, the language that was used in the press conference today, basically just lumping all people that are experiencing homelessness at this point in our city as people who use drugs, as people who commit crimes, and just linking the crime in Barrie to the homeless community, which is a concern for advocates. One of the things that was mentioned by an advocate today was no advocates were, no agencies, no organizations with boots on the ground working on the front lines, supporting people experiencing homelessness in our community. We're invited today. Why were not agencies invited to the conference? Why has he not sat down with the agencies to actually talk with them about solutions and working together as a community? So that was one of the concerns brought up. The other thing is about the city and the county going back and forth between whose responsibility it is for this, whose responsibility it is for that, but actually for them working together to address this issue in a truly way that actually benefits. Christine with Simcoe Community Media.